Welcome to the Bachelor Breakdown, where we break down the game of life.
Especially the games that men play.
I'm your girl, Erica.
I'm Ashley. Let's break it down.
Welcome to another episode of the Bachelor Breakdown. Today's topic is pretty interesting, I'll say, because we've done the research and there are countless takes on this. And
so many opinions.
We want to share ours. So we've all seen the guy. I call him Mr. Wonderful. He is everything and a bag of chips. He is kind to his partner. He is affectionate in all the right ways, like PDA, but not too much where it's sleazy. Like he seems very warm-hearted and generous, and he's a great dad. But then you see him around town with another woman and everything goes to shit, right? Like, I know these types of men. Like, I've seen them in my life. Like, men that pretend to be someone that they're not. Like, they have a whole persona. And at the core of them, they're just cheaters.
Oh, I can't change. But this is for women, too, because I've seen women that are the same. That's just... Do you know what I mean? I'm just saying it's both ways.
Horse is what I said.
Yeah.
And we don't do any shaming on this show.
No.
So that's no shame. But
whatever your prerogative
is. But
it's both ways, men and women.
Personally don't like people that misrepresent themselves.
No.
And where it becomes an issue for me is when Mr. Wonderful is cheating on my friend. Like, how do you handle that? How do you approach that situation when your friend is being cheated on by Mr. Wonderful? Everyone thinks the world of him. No one is going to believe you. Do you tell your friend or do you not?
It's so hard because, typically we all know the saying, you kill the messenger. Whoever brings you this information, that's who the other person typically gets upset with. I don't know if it's because they're embarrassed, or I think it's sometimes difficult to bring that information when you're single, because for some reason I think everyone thinks that you're bitter.
Bitter and jealous.
They'll kind of label you as that. So I think that can kind of be an issue that sometimes I think will stop people from being honest. But I think for me, Ashley, I'd have to gauge it, meaning the friendship. How close are we? If it's someone that I know just casually, it's nothing really, but maybe a lunch here or there or work related. I don't know if I would say anything. Do you know what I mean? I wouldn't say anything.
Because because basically at that point you can say that's not my business.
It's not my business. And on top of that, I don't know their arrangement. I'm learning more and more that a lot of couples have an arrangement where they can step out on each other. And they have that communication amongst themselves, which is their own personal business. Whereas if it was a close friend or family, and I kind of knew more of their background on how they operated, and I knew that my friend or family member didn't operate in the way where they were okay with their partner stepping out, then I would feel like I had to say it because I would want someone to tell me.
I would want someone to tell me, and this is why I feel like your own personal experience plays into this, because I was in a situation where I was being cheated on, I guess, all the time. And I had no idea. But again, this plays into that Mr. Wonderful, too good to be true concept. Because I thought, like, the way people show up can be completely deceiving and manipulative, right?
Yes.
So it's like you're in a situation, you're in a relationship where you think things are fine. Like, you think your relationship is secure, your home is healthy and happy, and lo and behold, Mr. Wonderful's out here in the streets.
Mhm.
And I remember no one ever coming to me and saying, listen, this is
Ugh.
this is what I'm hearing, or this is what I saw. And I think a lot of times when women are being cheated on or men are being cheated on, the partner is really good at what they do,
Yes.
in creating this loving, happy, dedicated, committed, great father, great mother persona, so that everyone around them will think, oh, they're not doing anything.
Mhm.
And they, cheat and mess around in ways that are very secretive and calculated, so that no one knows, and no one has real proof. So, because there's a difference
Mhm.
between
Yeah.
hearing something and seeing it for yourself, right? And I think a lot of people, there's always like speculation in relationships. I mean, you see it every day with celebrities. There's always
Mhm.
someone speculating on what the other person is doing, right? And
Mhm.
I feel like when you have these very manipulative people, or people that just like to perform and have this image, that they're happy and committed, I think they do a great job at creating a perspective
Mhm.
and not giving anyone real tangible evidence to come back and say,
Yeah.
"Oh no, I saw them with someone else."
Mhm.
So that
Yeah.
there's just speculation and it's just what I
Mhm.
heard. So if you come to
Yeah.
a person and say, "Oh, I heard," like, if someone came to me in a
Mhm.
previous relation when I was in my previous relationship and said, "I heard such and such," I wouldn't believe them. Like, I'd be
No.
like, "Oh, well, people talk all the time," especially me. Like,
Ash, I have a question,
what?
because this is the thing I think a lot of people have, um, hesitation about, even if they're close to someone saying something. You just said if they came to you and said, "Well, I heard," does that turn you off also? And do you start looking at the other person side-eyed? Because for me, if I was gonna go tell someone, I feel like I'd have to know for sure before I mention this. Like, I'd have to pretty much know for sure. I wouldn't really want to say, "Well, I'm hearing this," or "I'm hearing that," because it can make that person look maybe a little messy.
Every time that someone told me that they heard something, I never viewed them in a negative way. Like,
Okay.
but that's my personality. Like, I have the outlook of, if you have, it's hard to come to a friend or a loved one and say, I'm hearing this about your partner, right? That's very hard. So I have the perspective to say, to have the knowing that that's hard. So I'm not killing the messenger
No.
ever, because I always want information and I always want people to know that they can come and tell
Mhm.
me anything,
Yes.
good, bad, ugly. So I
Mhm.
never viewed anyone that came to me as a hater or trying to mess up my relationship,
Mhm.
ever.
Mhm.
But I also didn't take that information to heart. Like, I also didn't say, well, let me go. This could possibly be true. Like, I was completely oblivious. And you will have people that you are close to and care for that will be completely oblivious to what their partner could be doing. At this point in my
Mhm.
life, at 36, almost 37, I don't put anything past anyone. Like, I know people are capable of
Mhm.
anything, but that's my
Mhm.
lived and learned experience. Um,
Mhm.
but if someone would have come to me with like tangible evidence, like, "Oh, girl, I saw them with
Mhm.
someone else," or "Here's a picture," or like, then that's different. Then I
Mhm.
know for
Mhm.
sure what someone is doing,
Mhm.
and can act accordingly. I think it's hard, and that's the position you don't want to be in. It's when you're the friend who has heard something that fits
Mhm. Yeah.
the narrative, trying to go and share with a friend that you care about that their partner is cheating on them with. That's hard.
It's hard. It's
Have
hard, but I feel like as a friend, you have a responsibility because for me, I'm not even thinking, I'm always 2 steps ahead of everyone in my thought process. And for me, I'm not even thinking about the emotional damage that causes. I'm not thinking about that. I'm thinking about the health
Right.
related issues do you know what I mean? That's what I'm thinking about. I'm like, my health is, keep that straight. So I'm like, you don't want someone who's stepping out on you, male or female, and then potentially bringing something really crucial, I mean, like horrible, back to you
I
because of their, being selfish and careless. That's what I think about. Um, for me,
Yeah.
of why I want to tell because I'd be protective of the health and safety of my friend.
I would tell if I knew for sure that
Mhm.
my friend's partner was cheating on them, I would have to tell them. And
Mhm.
I think for the friend, it's the friend's responsibility to be transparent and not withhold information. I think
I
withholding
agree.
information sets you up to be
Mhm.
viewed as someone that's not very trustworthy. If you know
Mhm.
something and you don't say something and your friend finds out, that their partner's cheating on them and that you
Uh,
knew,
you
like,
knew.
that sets you up for a complete disaster.
Oh, gosh. But that's what you sign up if you're a true friend, you sign up for the good, the bad, the ugly, and uncomfortable.
Yes.
You sign up for it all. So I agree. I agree. Have you I think I've told you about this show. I
What?
love it in the morning, when I'm driving. But I told you it's called like it's I think the Drupal show, and they call it the War of the Roses.
Oh, yes.
Did I tell you about this? And I love it. Like, this is just when I get in the car, I'm like, "Dribble." And, they have this show, it's called The War of the Roses, and so people who are, suspecting that their partner is cheating, they can call into the show, and, the show will call their partner and offer them like 24 long stem roses. And so
Oh,
they don't have to put a credit card down. They don't have to do anything but give a name and a number. And then they'll send these roses to whoever they want. And they
okay.
can write a message in it. So, it's really sad because about 85% of those who call in suspecting, and this is males
Mhm.
and females, it's like 50-50 with males and females calling in suspecting that their significant other is cheating,
Mhm.
and like 85% of the time they are. But in those situations, I was always thinking, if I suspected something, maybe I would just, call in my friend's dude on that or chick and try to catch them that way. You know what I mean? I'm like a different way to get it without,
But that's interesting. So
you
they
know,
send the roses to the person that they're cheating with.
they have a choice to send it to whoever they want. So some of them send it to their wives or their husbands,
Uh-huh.
but a majority of the time they send it elsewhere. And it's really interesting because a lot of the conversations when they call in, these individuals saw little signs here and there that made them think, huh, is something happening? But
Oh,
several of them also had friends that told them that their significant other was seen out and about. And regardless of the friends telling them, they still chose to trust the partner
right.
that was actually cheating, and I
Mhm.
just thought that was kind of interesting. And so it took them going to the lengths of going on a radio show to catch them rather than listening to their friend
Well,
and their own guts,
that is
like their own gut
interesting
feeling.
because that like lends itself into a completely different topic, but it's like how far is too far? Like how far do you go as a
To
friend
yeah,
to
yeah.
one, like, take up for your friend, stand up for your friend, prove
Yeah.
that, their partner is not Mr. Wonderful or Mrs. Wonderful, who they say they are. I actually had a
Mhm.
friend tell me some very hot tea
Mm.
about some folks, that we know.
Ooh.
Um,
Oh, okay.
well, we don't know them directly. We know them,
Mhm.
we know of them. I'll say that.
Okay. Okay.
But there was a woman
Uh-huh.
and a man. They were both
Uh-huh.
married individually, like separately to different people. They
Okay.
had an affair, and word got out.
Uh-huh.
They didn't like divorce their spouses. They're still with their spouses. But, people circles are small.
Oh, they're
And
still there?
they're
Okay.
they're
Oh,
still
geez.
they're still married, but
Okay.
the circles are small where we
Okay.
are. And
Uh-huh. Mhm.
one of the woman's friends confronted let me make sure let me know if you need clarification because the story is very
Okay.
complex.
Okay.
The husband that was cheating's wife friend
Okay.
confronted the woman that was cheating,
Okay.
and her friend, like they were all together, her friend stood up and was like, yo, this is not the time or the place to be doing this. They like confronted each other in a public setting.
Okay.
Well, the husband that was cheating's wife's friend beat the woman that was cheating's wife's friend up
Oh my
in
god.
public. And I was like, whoa.
I love you, but I am not. Okay, I am a lover, not a fighter. All right?
So it was the friends in this situation that ended up friends of the cheaters that end up fighting each other. And I'm like,
It's not
whoa.
okay. No offense. No offense. I'm not taking punches for anyone.
That's too far. It's too
Not
far. Like,
happening.
most people don't want to tell their friends that their partner is cheating. But the extreme of fighting your friends,
Mm-mm.
I can't.
They just wanted to fight
They
because at
just,
the end of the day,
I'm not
no,
doing that. I'm
no,
not doing that.
no.
I think it's hard for people to,
Mhm.
it's like risk benefit, right? Like when you
Yeah.
know that you could potentially, like the information that you have could potentially harm someone's relationship to the point where
And,
they
and
do get
and also
divorced and children are
break a
involved,
family.
break up a
Yeah.
family, like that is a heavy decision to make, and it's not one to be taken lightly. And I think that's why so many people, like when we researched this topic and our scouting report said,
Mhm.
most people say nothing, right? Most people say, do not
Well,
say anything if you know your friend's partner is cheating. Like, stay out of it.
well,
That's not your business.
it's that saying that, eventually it's gonna rise to the surface. You know what I
Yeah, that's
mean?
my grandmother always says, what's done in the dark eventually comes to light.
Always.
Always. But it's still like, I think for what weighs on most people's minds is that if they find out I knew, how would they feel? I mean, it's like
Ugh.
that scene in Sex in the City, the movie,
Yeah.
when
Oh,
remember
yes.
when
Yeah, she's like,
Miranda found out Steve
mhm,
was cheating. Steve came to Carrie's
mhm, mhm,
rehearsal dinner to see
mhm,
Miranda. And then
mhm.
Miranda, like they get into it, and then Miranda says to Big, "You're crazy to get married," and then he doesn't show
Oh,
up at the
yeah.
wedding. Remember that?
That would've, but you know what? Yes, that would've, but this is my opinion in that.
What?
Kinda going off topic, but, it's a great film, and
I know, I love
that
it.
did I love it, and that one always upset me with Carrie because I looked at it this way. I didn't think Miranda was wrong, right? No, should she have said it? No, she shouldn't
She
have said
shouldn't
it.
have said it.
She shouldn't have said it because she
No.
was letting her own stuff
Personal stuff. She was
come in.
projecting. Yes.
She was being very messy. But I truly believe if something is meant to be, I don't want I don't want a marriage, I don't want a relationship, or I don't even want a friendship that can so easily break by someone
Right.
saying something
Right.
frivolous.
Right.
That tells me there was no true foundation to begin with.
Right.
So if I look at it and from my perspective, I'm like, Carrie, you dodged a bullet. Thank Miranda. Because if her little comment was what broke the camel's back, then thank you.
I think that's an interesting perspective. And I would agree because at first I thought Miranda shouldn't have said anything, but she also should have told Carrie because Carrie was like, what happened? I just don't know
Well,
what
she should have
happened.
said
She
she should
should
have
have
said
owned
it.
up to what she said. But what you just said is very true too. It's like if one little comment, like you guys are crazy to do this, that isn't the root of the problem. The root of the problem is that he didn't want to get me. He had his own issues with marriage that he didn't want to deal with.
Mm-hmm.
But I will tell you that I am
Mm-hmm.
Charlotte. I am Charlotte in the limo scene in that limo scene when she's like,
Me too.
I
Get
am
away. Stop.
I am her. You are not going to harm my friend.
What'd she say? I cursed you the day you were born. I love
Hey,
Charlotte. I'm Charlotte. I'm Charlotte in real life.
I
I'm
think I'm a mix
totally
of
Charlotte.
I am Charlotte in real life. That's maybe
I'm
why.
totally Charlotte.
Yeah, I'm Charlotte. We're
I'm
Charlottes.
Charlotte. Yep. Straight up Charlotte in every way.
But yeah, so I do think like continuing on with the scouting report, it's like people
Yeah.
are afraid. Most people suggest don't say nothing. You don't want to be in it. You don't want to be a part of the family breaking up.
Yeah.
Like you said, what comes to the dark will come to the light, and it will eventually be revealed. But then some people say, say it. Tell your friend.
If I say if you know for sure, I wouldn't be just assuming. If I knew for sure,
Right.
I would have to say it.
I think the hard
You
part,
know,
but I think the hard part for most people, and this is what the scouting report said too, is that most people fear sharing the information because they don't think their friend will leave anyway. So why share it? Because if you know the information is not going to make a difference in whether your friend stays or leaves, like then why even
but
share the information?
this is my thing too. I'm going way off topic, but it's just something that came in my head, and people are probably gonna think I'm a bad friend for saying this. But
No judgment we don't judge here.
no, we don't judge. But as I'm getting older, I've just found that I've had to cut ties with a lot of individuals that they keep getting in their own way and they keep running to me for advice, and it's exhausting for me. And because I'm so empathetic, it really weighs on me when I see someone continuing to run into a brick wall over and over again.
Yeah.
I've separated myself. So if I had a friend that I knew was that way, I'd tell them and I'd just be prepared to separate because it would eat me up. I
Yeah.
just couldn't. And I can't keep beating a dead horse. I can't keep going. I have a million things going on. I'm going to be there for you 100%. But if you can't take advice, especially if it's something that is blatant and raring, I just can't do it.
Yeah.
I just can't actually anymore.
And I agree with that. I feel like when you're young, and hopefully what this show does is help younger women, young ladies, young girls really navigate these tough times in life, and you don't have to wait until you're 30 or 40 or 50 to
To figure it out.
figure it out.
Yeah.
But I do think when you're young, women are conditioned to believe that we are everybody's savior. Like we can save you by loving you and caring for you and nurturing
And
you
I
enough.
tried. And now I'm exhausted.
I did too. And now in my late 30s, I'm tired. And what I would say to my younger self is say it. Tell your friend the truth. Tell your friend what you know. Be transparent. And if that threatens your friendship, then that is not a friendship you were supposed to be in.
No.
You should not have to hide who you are or your own,
No walking on eggshells. When I get that feeling, that's my gauge. If I have to walk on eggshells or entertain you or this or that, my friendships in life are all extremely strong, independent women that have a million things going. And when we're together, we have fun because guess what? We're not bringing stuff to the table on each other.
Right.
We're just uplifting, and I just don't have time.
Right. And
anymore.
I think the more women are real and honest and transparent and have the courage to say the things that they're afraid of saying, I think that helps them.
Yeah.
In business, what I learned was fail fast, right? And the same should be applied to your relationships. If you are in a relationship, a friendship where you cannot be honest, be courageous, tell the truth, share information, share your knowledge because of fear of that relationship failing or them no longer being your friend or
Mhm.
losing the quote unquote love of your life, that
Mhm.
is a for sure sign that that relationship is going to fail eventually. And in business, we always
100%.
say fail fast because it helps you get closer to what will be successful, what will be
Mhm.
healthy, what will be for you. So it's the same in
Yeah.
friendships. I mean, it's hard, yes, to tell somebody that they're being cheated on because you don't know how they will respond and how they will
Mhm.
react. And if,
Mhm.
there's children involved, that adds more risk to
Mhm.
sharing the information and the decision to share the information. But at the
Mhm.
end of the day, you have to, and most people feel like they're inserting themselves or being
Mhm.
nosy. No, if it's going to weigh on your consciousness, if you know, like, oh my goodness, my homegirl or my homeboy is
Yeah.
not being treated well, they don't deserve this. And it's not up, again, it's not up to us to determine what someone deserves. But if it's
Yes.
going to weigh on you, you have to share the
Yeah.
information.
And
Period.
and the only piece of advice I'll say for this, is just don't be messy. I think it's how you handle
That's
anything in
really
life,
good. Expand on that
business, right?
because most people
Just
think
don't be
like
messy.
most people won't share the information with the person, but they'll go
Mhm.
and share gossip
That's
about it
worse.
and tell
That's
every
worse.
friend that you have, or like, don't
That's
again,
worse.
let's say that again, Erica.
That's worse. You can't be messy. I think it's just how you handle it. But it's just how you handle anything in life,
Hmm.
business, whatever. Like, do your due diligence first,
Yes. That's
and
research. That's research, people.
right? And then right? And then it's how you deliver everything. It's just like even when you're in relationships, right? If your significant other says something to you in one way, you'll receive it differently than if they say it a different way, right?
Right.
So it's also how your delivery and the care in which you deliver it. And like I
Yeah.
said, your due diligence beforehand. The thing is, just don't be messy. And I also feel if you're not 100% sure, I don't think I'd say anything until I knew for sure
Yes.
because you are messing with something that is extremely hurtful and detrimental. And like you said, can break up a real family unit. So once again, just don't be messy and don't go tell everyone. Don't tell anyone.
Right.
Don't tell anyone. This is not everyone's information. It is
Yeah, if you
only
don't
for the
have the courage
person.
to tell the person that it's actually affecting, do not go and share information with anyone
Don't.
else.
No.
No.
Because if you do, then I do look at you side eyed because I think you're trying to hurt me because then I'm becoming a form of your entertainment. That's how I look at it.
You know what else is interesting? I know someone that shared some information of about their friend's
Mm-hmm.
partner, and
Mm-hmm.
the man got mad. Like the person that was actually cheating got mad at the messenger. And
Okay.
this is why you have to be strong. Not strong in the sense of doing it all by yourself, but strong in the sense of
Hmm.
like, I don't give a shit what you have to say.
Yeah.
Um, it was my cousin actually. She was like, he don't,
What
he
happened?
doesn't, she saw another family member's man like met like in action talking to another woman like on a date. So
Oh
she went back and
gosh.
told our other family member.
I'd be like, Lord, why are you giving me this to bear? I already have enough.
She went back and told my other family member, and then he lied and was like, "No, I wasn't on a date. That was my friend."
Ugh. Mhm. That's another show topic. I'm sorry. I don't have that many guy friends. No.
But
I don't really believe in that female and guy kind of
let me
friendship
think
kind of
of,
a
do I have
thing.
any guy friends? I have male cousins that I'm really close with.
Because when I really think about my guy friends, they're all people I dated. So
Right.
that means there's something, you know what I mean? So, and when they've started relationships, I always, because as a female, I think that's messy and I want to be respectful
Right.
because I'm a girl's girl.
Yes.
So I always step away. But like, truthfully, there are guys I've dated, or we might have gone on one date, or it wasn't like that's my guy friends, which is why I always say men and females are, whatever your sexual orientation is. I don't think that when you're with someone that
Right.
is attractive, I don't really think you can be friends because I feel like one of you is wanting a little more. That's another show
That's
topic.
another
I'm
show
going
topic,
off.
you're right.
But
I agree. But he was like, "Oh, we were just friends," and my cousin's like, "No, you're not." So he doesn't speak to her because she went and told our other cousin that he was stepping out. Anyway,
are they still together?
no. Mm-mm.
Ah,
But
okay.
you have to. I think that's another thing. Like that's so
Mhm.
so many like different ways that it can shake out. I agree. Like our in-game
Mhm.
adjustments, like if you are dealing with a situation where you know your friend's partner is cheating on them, you
Mhm.
have to do your due diligence. You
Yeah.
have to like analyze the depth of the relationship, like your friendship with that person. Like are you just meeting this person?
Yeah.
Have you been friends for years?
Mhm.
Were you instrumental in them coming together? Like how whatever your position is with your friend, like however deep your relationship is,
Mhm.
that you have to take that into consideration. And
Mhm.
how would you feel if your friend found out that you knew and you didn't say anything? So I think there are a lot of
Mhm.
like things to consider when making this decision. It's not one to be taken lightly. I think,
No.
like Erica said, the most important thing you should never do is
Mhm.
have information and go share it with
Mhm.
others without
Mhm.
first, well, sharing with others at all. Like, I don't think you should
Yes.
spread gossip at all.
At all. It's not your story to
It's not your
tell.
story to
It's,
tell.
you know?
I think you have
So
to go to the person. And if you don't feel comfortable going to the person, then you say nothing.
then you say nothing. I agree. What such a good
It's such a good
episode.
episode. We will see you
It's
all
good.
next time. Thanks for
Yes.
joining us as we break down the game of life.
Yes.
We'll see you next time. Until
Yep.
then, we love you.
Love
Do
you.
you,
Be
be
you. Do
you, all
you.
the things. Mwah. Bye.
Mwah.